We have seen some truly terrible games released in 2023 alongside the really good ones, but one of the biggest scams in the gaming industry in recent memory is officially shutting down in January following its disastrous launch. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So, this is actually a The Gamer article. It says, following one of the most disastrous launches of 2023, honestly, one of the most disastrous launches I have personally seen in the video game industry, the day before's developer, Fantastic, has confirmed that it's shutting down and that the game will go offline on January 22nd, 2024. Now, this is a game that when it was initially announced years ago, we all thought was going to be a very odd release because they were promising the world with this. It was going to be a survival MMO. It was going to have some kind of action combat. It was going to have a lot of progression. It was going to have a story. I mean, they promised everything they could have with this game, and it seemed too good to be true. And throughout the years, they of course would release little tidbits of gameplay, which looked really good, but it was only small snippets to try to tease and then get you excited for the game to finally release. And then it came out and it was nothing like what they promised. It was a extraction shooter, and don't get me wrong, extraction shooters are extremely popular. I like a good extraction shooter, but it's just not what they had promised. And if this game had came out and it was not buggy, it was not glitchy, and there were not, hackers in lobbies day one, and people realized it was an extraction shooter because they had said, oh, we actually changed our vision with this, it could have been pretty good, but that just is not what happened. They did every single thing wrong here. It says it's tough to know where to even begin when talking about The Day Before. Originally pitched as a live service survival game, The Day Before was once one of the most pre-ordered and talked about games on Steam that looked like it had a bright future ahead of it. Yeah, I mean, there was tons of hype. I mean, it was on hundreds of thousands of people's wish lists on Steam. There was a lot of hype behind this game, and it just did not pan out. It says shortly after releasing, the developer Fantastic announced that it was going to be shutting down, wiped their YouTube channel while saying that shit happens, and started offering refunds for the game, making its future look very bleak indeed. Well, to the surprise of literally no one, they have now announced that The Day Before is going to be shut down alongside the developer on January 22nd. I mean, they had released several other games, never to this size, never at this scope, but at the same time, they knew what they were getting themselves into. There were hundreds of thousands of people wishlisting this game, hundreds of thousands of people talking about it on social media. They should have known what they were doing with all of the promises they were making, and just the end product. It's not like it was a solid, really good extraction shooter with really good graphics, solid gameplay, very polished title all around. They gave us a bare bones experience, asked us, hey, will you still buy this game? And people did. People tried to give it a chance. It's just such a pathetic situation because, again, if it had launched and it had actually been a half decent product, none of this would be happening. Yes, you'd have some people that were inevitably disappointed, but people are itching for new battle royales, new extraction shooters, new arena shooters. People are itching for things like this. I mean, you can just see with the millions of people who ended up buying it at launch, even though it wasn't what they initially promised. People wanted this to still be a decent experience. They said, we regret to inform you that the development company Fantastic has officially ceased operations, and as a result, The Day Before will be retired and the servers will be turned off on January 22nd, 2024. And of course, they are getting obliterated on this post. People are like, I do not care. This is not good. did not respond in a suitable way either. You basically said shit happens. Like, that is not an adequate response when you've got millions of people who are disappointed with a product you put out. And yes, granted, it was not a full AAA price $70, but $40 is still a lot of money. People are sharing this meme that I think is hilarious. It says abandoned real-time experience. I mean, yeah, they completely abandoned this game, but it's really no shocker to see why. I personally did not even get a chance to buy the day before. I was thinking about buying it for the memes, but then after a couple days after launch, I was like, no, there's no way that I'm putting my money into this, just in case Steam and the developer did not, decide to refund people. That's tough. Who cares? Y'all legit tried to finesse and didn't get away with it. They really did. They really tried to release a product that was nothing like what they initially promised, expected people to still accept it and that they could get away with it, and that is not what happened here. I mean, there have been a lot of really poor games to release this year: Gollum, King Kong Skull Island, Walking Dead Destinies, but nothing to this level. As you can see on Steam, it is, because Steam page is still up, it currently says overwhelmingly negative. I mean, look at this. It's still on my wish list. I still had it on my wish list because I hadn't even gotten a chance to update it yet. This was a game that even I had put on my freaking wish list to try to because I was planning on potentially maybe even streaming it, but it was on my wish list to play. I was interested in it, and I bookmarked it so that I wouldn't forget about its existence. Oh, that was not gonna happen after this. It is sitting though at an overwhelmingly negative with 23,797 reviews. There's not even a point to sit and scroll through all of them because of how many there are, but everybody is saying the same exact thing. Like, it's crazy how the original version of the game they alluded to is the exact game everyone wants, a true next-gen graphical open world zombie survival crafting game. Yeah, I mean, they promised a lot, but it sounded like it was going to be a really good experience. Every time I start the game, I have to remake my character and do the tutorial every single time. We'll always remember the greatest scam. And as you can see right above, this user refunded the day before. Most of these reviews are from people who refunded the product. Right now, Steam is in the process of refunding everybody, which is unprecedented. Steam, as far as I know, has never done this. I even tried to look into it and research it, and I could not find an instance where Steam has refunded literally everybody who bought a product. But at this point, I'm happy to hear that Steam is doing this. I'm happy to hear that Fantastic is just like, yeah, you guys can all get your refunds, because like a week ago they had said that. But this is a game that will go down in video game history as one of the worst launches to ever happen. This is one of the greatest scams that we have also seen in the video game industry, and it's so sad that so many people were very excited for this game, very hopeful, but unfortunately, it was not what was initially promised, and it was just a major failure. But that's all that I really had to discuss. If you enjoyed this video and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.